BBL 851, turn right, heading 180. Order 14 Papa, turn right 245, report localizer established 27.
Today's video is sponsored by NordVPN. More on their amazing product soon. What today is also though is another action-packed aviation news video with lots of new developments coming from the industry, from a struggling aircraft to New Zealand to the 737 MAX, and also a major problem within the United Kingdom. Stay tuned for all the latest. We begin though in Canada, once again with more cargo developments from WestJet, who, following in the footsteps of the recent full announcement from Air Canada regarding developments and growth of their cargo region, will actually see the launch of WestJet Cargo, a new dedicated freighter service being offered by the airline that will comprise initially of the Boeing 737-800 converter freighter aircraft. The airline deems it as a good move as cargo transportation within Canada, and then therefore also through to the United States and potentially in the future South America, becomes a more lucrative market that harbours many potential opportunities for profit and brand expansion and also exposure. We've seen in enough industry predictions just how important freight will be in the coming decades, and WestJet is now planning for that. They'll see their first dedicated freighter arrive in the second quarter of 2022 if you were interested. The executive vice president of WestJet and also the president of Shoaib commented on the freighter offering, saying, "Our new dedicated commercial cargo aircraft are a natural evolution of the competitive guest services WestJet has successfully provided over our 25-year history. It will provide cargo customers with a reliable on-time performance and competitive cost advantage synonymous with WestJet. What do you make of WestJet Cargo? Do let me know down below in the comment section." Moving along to the 737 MAX, which after more than 2 years on the ground, has finally been approved to fly once again within New Zealand skies. While Air New Zealand, the carrier of New Zealand, does not fly the 737 MAX nor have plans to welcome in the type, approval was still needed for Fiji Airways to fly their aircraft into the country. The Civil Aviation Authority, or CAA, have made note that they are now happy with the tests and changes Boeing have made with regards to their MCAS, sensors and more, and they finally believe that the aircraft can now safely carry passengers in and out of the country. But you'll hear one of the twists that involves this approval very soon. Fiji Airways, who are the operator that really will benefit from this, only currently have 5 737 MAX 8s. 2 of those, should I mention, have actually been approved, and that's the half the approval they need, as 3 737 MAX 8 aircraft are still in the process of being reviewed, and what I'd like to believe are in the final stages of being reviewed by the CAA before they can finally fly through to New Zealand. But certainly 2 aircraft is better than the previous none the carrier was able to operate into the country for well over 24 months. While for New Zealand there's positive news with the approval, Boeing still believes that approving the 737 MAX for usage in and out of China will be a lot harder to come by, something documented very well here on the channel. Within China, the 737 MAX was actually one of the fastest selling pieces of aircraft prior to the crisis, and was rapidly picked up by operators as an aircraft dubbed to be one for the future. Its efficiency, size, and also therefore capacity was perfect for countless operators within the country. However, China were also the first operator that pulled the plug back in March of 2019, when the groundings first commenced, if you will. They were very adamant that the aircraft was not safe and they were taking absolutely no chances. Whereas in comparison, if we looked at 737 MAX operators within the United States and the FAA, they really didn't want to ground the aircraft and were in fact basically pushed from every other operator and regulator worldwide to ground the aircraft. They were the final ones to make the announcement. We can see therefore the stark contrast. Tensions between the West with regards to trade mean that certifying and therefore subsequently seeing the aircraft fly with passengers on board is being currently delayed, meaning right now for Boeing there's absolutely no time frame on just when the MAX will once again fly within China. The longer the type is on the ground, the more it hurts Boeing and in addition destroys the prospect of further orders potentially coming from the region. In addition, airlines that rely heavily on the type will be further impacted by the never-ending delays and will have to use alternative aircraft in the meantime, something they've been doing for the past 2 years. Meanwhile, within the United Kingdom, tensions are rising naturally and rightfully so from the aviation sector, as the lack of communication is now at pathetic levels with regards to the traffic light system that was originally hopeful of enabling carriers to be able to fly internationally, but in a very general sense, has done absolutely nothing with all the restrictions still in place, and it's still just as hard to travel. Currently, Ryanair and the Manchester Airport Group have moved forward with actually a legal challenge that is directed towards the UK government, asking for basically more clarity and therefore transparency as to why these decisions are being made and how they actually are genuinely made. As someone currently located in the United Kingdom, it's been very easy to see the incredible impact the pandemic has had on the travel industry and specifically the aviation sector. Now, while I flew only a month ago through to Portugal, it doesn't mean that it wasn't hard to see the impact it had on London Gatwick. Of course, we're not even talking London Heathrow. Gatwick was basically completely empty. Every check-in desk was closed, the security only had a handful of people, and it's quite sad to see, to say the least. Frankly, if current situations continue and restrictions do stay in place, when the time comes for the world to properly reopen, the United Kingdom will have no aviation sector left, as every single company will have gone bust. And while of course that definitely sounds like it's over the top, it is true. They'll be starting from the ground up if changes are not made, dealing a huge blow to the hundreds of thousands of lives that depend on the sector. They said, for more countries, the traffic light seems to be stuck on amber for no obvious reason, despite having rates much lower than the UK. The government is not being open, and we simply cannot understand how it is making decisions that are fundamental to our ability to plan and to giving customers the confidence to book travel ahead. What are your thoughts on this? I'm very passionate about it, but feel free to leave it down in the comment section below. Now, on to our sponsor for today. As restrictions ease worldwide, in some locations, the need for a VPN is actually needed more than ever to protect you. That's why having a safe VPN, like that of NordVPN, can help protect you in these instances. With more people than ever, therefore, online and travel resuming in the likes of the United States, it's a time for people to target your information on public Wi-Fi settings, like airline login accounts and banking details. NordVPN can help you stay invisible online and protect you from these unwanted interruptions. On top of that, they allow you to actually jump from region to region to select the best price plane tickets. With the NordLynx protocol, it means it's one of the fastest VPNs in the world. You can get NordVPN by using the link joined on your screen or use my coupon code, which is DJ's Aviation, for a 2-year plan plus a bonus additional month with a huge discount. I actually use NordVPN and I could not recommend them highly enough for day-to-day usage. Now, back to the video. If you have any thoughts on any of the topics I discussed in today's aviation news recap, that could be the crisis currently ongoing within the United Kingdom when it comes to international travel, or potentially the feature story on the 737 MAX, feel free to leave it down in the comments section below. But until the next one, please take care, be safe. Thank you once again to NordVPN for sponsoring this video, and I will see you tomorrow.